Greater Israel typically refers to maintaining Israel's sovereignty over all of historic mandatory Palestine. This means Israel proper. It says West Bank here, but we know Judeo-Samaria, which later referred to by the biblical names of Judeo-Samaria and Gaza. Netanyahu recently stated in an interview that he absolutely supports Greater Israel in this context. But the biblical maximalist map, the idea that Israel is actively plotting to expand into Egypt, Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, and Saudi Arabia, comes from a literal interpretation of Genesis 15:18, which describes God promising Abraham's descendants land from the brook of Egypt to Euphrates, which some fringe extremist settler groups use this map as an ideological fantasy. It is completely divorced from actual Israeli state policy or military reality. In regional geopolitics, this Nile to Euphrates map is frequently cited by adversaries as proof of a secret imperialist Zionist expansion plot, but it's not a genuine governmental objective. So when it comes to the Messiah things that he's saying, there's a real influential ideology in Israel called Messianic Zionism. Followers of this movement, which include powerful figures in Netanyahu's cabinet, like Finance Minister Frisch and National Security Minister Ben-Gvir, believe that settling the entire biblical land of Israel is a divine commandment that will hasten the coming of Messiah. For these factions, geopolitics is theological. Netanyahu does not share this literal messianic goal, but he frequently utilizes biblical rhetoric to appeal to this domestic base and to his evangelical Christian supporters abroad, which blurs the lines between secular statecraft and religious prophecy. So Netanyahu is a secular nationalist riding the tiger of religious extremism to stay in power. He isn't trying to conquer Iraq to summon the Messiah, but he has empowered the exact political factions who look at the Middle East through that theological lens. We have so much evidence that this was Al Qaeda. I could go through some of the evidence that this was Al Qaeda, but let me know if you want me to go through that. I think I don't need to waste my time with that, because I think that there are few people who are that far gone that can be saved. I'm not saying that we should give up on. Yeah, go on, Jose. What?
Yeah, so I'm saying it's not just me and Muslims now. It's a lot of hundreds, possibly tens, possibly hundreds of millions of Americans. So you're gonna
Hundreds of millions. Do you have a stat for that? That hundreds of millions of Americans believe 9/11 was done by Jews. Do you have stats for that? Where did you get that number from? Also, do you know appeal to popularity? Do you know that logical fallacy? Are you familiar with that logical fallacy, Jose? So two questions. Are you familiar with the appeal to popularity logical fallacy? And that's question number one. And two, do you have any evidence for that stats that you just gave?
poll held maybe 15, 20 years ago that stated 1 in 3 Americans didn't believe the official story. So out of that percentage, maybe 7 believed the Israelis did it. But this is probably way back. Now a lot of
Okay,
people have come around.
So you don't. So basically, you don't have a source for that. You don't
Not
have any
yet, but
source
1 in
that
3.
So you said hundreds of millions. Now that I basically showed that you pulled it out of your ass, you're like, okay, so let's settle with tens of millions.
Wait, let me elaborate. The poll came in 2000, in the early 2000s, maybe 2004, 5, 6, around that time.
You just
And
said
it said,
you just told me that right now you don't have any evidence for that, but the evidence will
no,
come.
the
So
poll I'm talking about, it came on CNN.
is there a poll that shows that hundreds of millions of Americans believes that Israel did
Well,
9/11? Is there
okay,
yes or no? Yes or no?
let me let me
Does that
clarify. Can I clarify? No. It's not as simple. When you say that, let me give you an example. When you release the report by Gabbard that says that only 40% of Iranians are Muslims now, based on a poll of 50,000, does that prove automatically that millions of the majority of Iranians have left Islam from that poll? It doesn't, right? Similarly, 1 in
Yeah,
3 Americans based on that poll.
actually, that's a pretty good evidence because it's because it's basically based on a randomized number of people who have been selected. If the data, by the way, the poll that you're even pointing doesn't even say what you say. Do you have this poll? Well, first of all, link the poll that you're mentioning because you're even making a claim. Okay, but do we have a poll? This was the claim. This was a claim. Your claim was hundreds of millions of Americans believe that Israel did 9/11. Do you have a poll for that?
Okay, let me elaborate again. I don't have a direct poll for that, but I just came to that conclusion from that poll 15 years, 20 years ago. Okay.
So you made it up. You made it up, basically.
And not exactly. I kind of inferred. Put it that way.
Okay. So no evidence.
Well, let's just say tens of millions. For argument's sake, let's just say 20, 30,
so
40.
Now that we have established that you made a claim with zero evidence, do you know what appeal to popularity means? What do you know what that logical fallacy? Okay.
Yes, I do.
So you think you're trying to suggest that you're right because millions of Americans agree with you?
Yeah, the evidence is solid. That's pretty solid now. We can talk. Do you want to talk about 9/11 or do you want to talk about Israel?
I think you don't understand what I'm saying. You said yes, and then after yes, I said that I asked you, do you think that if millions of Americans agree with you, that means you're correct? And you said yes, the evidence is solid. So you're not even understanding the question that I'm asking you. Do you think that you pointing out that millions of Americans agree with you, that makes your case stronger?
Well, people are seeing the light right now. People are coming to the truth. That's the reason why they're abandoning.
That's not my question. That's not even my question. You don't even understand the question. You can't even understand a simple question, and you think you're fit to evaluate who did 9/11 was fake, and all of the evidence that we have is all false. You are not even qualified to even understand a very simple question.
Yeah, I answered you. Let me be straight up. Appeal to popularity does not make it the truth. Okay, does that make sense?
So why do you even offer that as a? By the way, thank you for finally admitting that it took you long enough. I don't know.
No,
you're either dumb or you're dancing around it because you know that I cornered you and you were trying to get away, but I cornered you while you were trying to get away, and I didn't let you. So now you have to admit that you're full of shit.
Okay, no, I'm not, because that is the key reason why most Americans are, especially in the right wing, are abandoning Israel. That's what I'm trying to get at. So regardless of whether it's true or not, I believe it's true, but you might not. That's your problem. The main reason, one of the key reasons as to why conservative right-wing pro-Israeli Republicans are abandoning Israel right now.
Do you have any evidence beyond, I don't know if you know the population of the United States, beyond hundreds of millions of Americans believe that the Jews did 9/11? Do you actually have any solid proof for this insane claim?
What?
Do you have any proof that Jews did 9/11?
There are lots of articles and documentaries linking Israel to 9/11.
Oh, wow.
And documentaries,
okay.
Yep. Well, listen.
That's your hard proof. Okay, so
you don't have proof. You don't have any proof.
Wait a minute.
Okay, hold on. You don't have any proof. You don't have any proof that 19.
Okay, no, I agree. If that's evidence, well, then I also have hundreds of documentaries that showed Al Qaeda did 9/11, and hundreds of thousands of articles that says Al Qaeda did 9/11.
So
but
that's the
I'm going to use your own evidence. I'm going to use your own standard for evidence. I actually have hundreds of documentaries and articles that says Al Qaeda was an organization. So using your standard of what counts as evidence, then it did exist.
Do you know how the word Al Qaeda came about?
By the way, Jose, based on your standard, I have hundreds of articles that says Islam is bullshit. So, given your standard of argument, given your standard for evidence, then you have to accept Islam is bullshit.
Not really.
No, you said no. Your evidence for Jews doing your evidence for Jews doing 9/11 was that there's hundreds of articles for Jews doing 9/11. So based on your standard, Islam is bullshit because I have hundreds of articles saying Islam is bullshit. There,
But there's
and
counter to that.
documented.
Okay, I get what you're saying. There are counters to the accusations against Islam. There's a lot of counter arguments against that.
Oh,
And
oh yeah.
regarding,
Okay. Oh, you defeated me because there's zero counters. Oh, I didn't know. Yeah, you're right. There's absolutely zero counters to Jews doing 9/11. Oh, yes, you're right. Okay, yeah, you
Mhm,
win. There's absolutely zero
yeah,
Can
counters
I
to that. Okay, sure.
did it.
suggest that we move on?
Okay, make your
What?
last point, Jose. Jose, we because there are other people here. I'm limited. I really do want to talk to you for hours. So make sure you send that email to me. We'll set something up. Okay, but because
After
other
this,
people are yeah after this, but because other people are waiting, we need to go move on to other people. So I hope you accept that. You understand that. And we'll talk
mhm.
again later. Okay. Okay. All right. So Danny,
Inshallah,
who's next?
inshallah.
Insha Iblis. But
Uh,
yeah.
I have Dajjal and then Emmy. That's who I have on
Oh,
the list.
Insha Iblis. That's very fitting to for us to go to Dajjal after I said Insha Iblis. But go on, Dajjal.
Cat Lady wanted to ask one question because Jose mentioned her. I don't know if we should stay on the topic.
Okay, so let's just go down the list because I only have a little bit more time, and then maybe you guys could basically argue it out after I leave. So thank you, Cat Lady, for understanding. All right, so who's next?
Hey,
Okay, go on, Dajjal. Go on.
Jose, you asked me what if I was somebody. Who were you talking about?
No, Dajjal, please don't ask Jose any questions because I don't want this to
John
become
Allen
like a back
Martinson,
and forth.
John Allen Martinson
Okay.
Jr.
All right. So Dajjal, from now on, make your statement without actually going back and forth with Jose, okay? Because this could basically we could get into a debate, and I still have three more people on the list before I have to go. Okay, but go on.
All right.
Oh, Cameron.
I was just wondering if you ever do conversations like this specifically regarding like religious topics. Like do you have a room like this where you do like atheism and Christianity or stuff like that? Because I've been really impressed and happy with what I've seen from you on here, especially with how you've spoken with the Islamist guy. And I have a friend of mine who loves doing this kind of stuff all day. It's actually his job. He does professional debates and stuff online, and I think he'd really enjoy having a conversation with you, and I genuinely think you'd have enjoy a conversation with him.
Oh, okay. What is was he like? What Christian, Muslim? What is he?
Yeah, he's a Christian. He's a friend of mine. His name's Matt Slick. He does carm.org. Have you ever heard of that?
No. So I don't know. What do you think is? I used to debate a lot of Christians, right? I have I'm focusing more on Islam and
And Iran.
wokeism and communism. No, like I think like and sometimes I notice that when I debate Christianity, I lose my Christian allies because I think right now we need to like Jews, Hindus, Christians, atheists need to be united against the greatest threats to the world right now, which is Islam and communism. And I wish it was like this that when I debated Christianity, I wouldn't lose my Christian, allies, but I noticed that when I do lose them. Like some people who supported me against Islam, when they notice me like my disagreements with Christianity, they might like get disappointed and not, support like don't see me as an ally or united anymore. So I'm basically not doing that as much as anymore. I rather like debate against Muslims. But if your friend could arrange like a debate with a Muslim, I would very much appreciate that. But let me know, what do you think about this?
Well,
Yeah.
versus
Yes.
Nadir Ahmed. So he's done plenty of debates with Islam. He does, like I said, he's online constantly, like in rooms
Okay.
like this. If you
So if you
typed
could
up Matt
arrange
Slick, you'd find him.
Matt,
But
what?
I mean, I could encourage him to basically find you, and maybe you guys could have a conversation or with someone. I totally get what you're saying. You don't want to alienate any of your supporters who would be Christian, and part of the reason I brought it up is because of how you comport yourself in your conversation. And you're like, hey, I want this person to speak, and you genuinely take turns. Matt's the same way, and he can be rough, but only with people that are rough with him. If he's talking to someone like you, I think it'd be a cordial conversation. And maybe some Christians would be offended by it, but I mean, the way you have a conversation, like if you were to talk the way you do on Goldie's show, because it's like, okay, well, this is the environment, we're having a cordial conversation, maybe it's a back and forth. I think it'd be enjoyable, and at the same time, it's like, I like Armin. Ever since watching Goldie's show, I've been impressed with you, and I like it. And at the same time, because I'm a Christian, it's out of a love for you as a person, and
Okay.
I think you'd enjoy it.
Okay. Well, I'll consider it. Thank you, Cameron. I appreciate that.
Okay. Hey, thanks. Bye.
Thank you. All right. Samantha? Do we still have her here?
Yeah.
Uh,
Can you hear me?
yes, go ahead.
Okay. I don't know. I think I forgot what I was gonna say, but now it's like, how do I? You know what? Improvise. I'm curious. Like, you say that you think communism is a bigger threat than Islam. Can we
Yes.
do you at least agree that like communism doesn't lead to pedophilia?
It doesn't, yeah, as much as Islam does, sure, yeah.
Okay. And like
Okay, but
communism
honestly,
doesn't like
but honestly, the starvation of tens of millions of people is. Am I going to get canceled for saying that I hate the starvation of tens of millions of people more than pedophilia? Because saying that saying an ideology doesn't lead to pedophilia is a very low standard. And I think communism leads to the starvation of tens of millions and millions and millions of people. I think that's worse. Isn't that worse than pedophilia?
but like I would argue the opposite, that capitalism leads to the starvation of millions and millions of people.
I know you think that, and I disagree with you. How about this? How about Samantha? Would you agree that if I am correct, that communism leads to poverty, okay, and capitalism leads to prosperity, then I am correct? If it's true that communism leads to poverty, and the closer you get to communism, you have more poverty, and the closer you get to capitalism, you have more prosperity, then in that case, would you agree with me that communism is even worse than Islam? If I'm right.
Honestly, I would not feel comfortable agreeing to that.
But it's an if. Like, I'm not saying that this is true, but if this was the reality. Like, let's say in a parallel universe, not in our universe, in a parallel universe, that capitalism led to prosperity and communism led to poverty. Would you say in that, not in our universe, but would you say in that universe, then I would be correct? In this universe, you're
I would
correct.
not
I'm
feel
wrong.
comfortable with that.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to
I'm sorry.
pressure you. Okay. I know.
I'm
You,
sorry.
again, I understand, and that's completely understandable. The cult that that you were in, I completely understand how uncomfortable that makes you feel to say that. So I'm not going to pressure you, right? Would you be able to be comfortable with saying that you see where I'm coming from, my understanding of things? Like, would you be able to understand why I'm saying the things I'm saying if that's my understanding? Would you be able to say that?
Can.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So what me and you agree with is that me and you, Samantha, so I like capitalism, you like communism. What we agree on is that we want the highest amount of people to have the best life possible, right? Right?
Can.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my analysis has led me to thinking this would lead to highest number of people having the best life, and you have come up with a different conclusion. But both of us want the best life for the highest number of people. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. And thank you. And sorry if I made you uncomfortable. I completely understand. And thank you for asking that question. I think like you're becoming, I think that it's becoming easier and easier for you to get closer to asking these questions, because I think you made a lot of progress in the past couple of months. Like even touching this question was something that you didn't used to do like just a few months ago. So this is amazing that you're even asking. I'm proud of you.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
We also have
All
Emmy
right.
on the list.
Okay. Emmy.
Hi, so it's my first time here, and I heard you guys talking about Mamdani, and I wanted to comment, but my husband made me make my own account. So the reason I wanted to go back to Mamdani is because I happened to end up on a NIAC text string, because many years ago, like a lot of Iranians, I thought that they were a cultural organization and they were putting on a Nowruz party in Seattle. So I gave them a few bucks for that. And so now I get all their deranged texts. So they first sent a text out collecting money for his mayoral campaign, and then they said that they had made a huge contribution to it. For those of you who don't know NIAC, it's like a big, lobbying arm for the Islamic Republic. And then after he was elected, they sent out a text saying that they were so happy he was elected and that they wanted to repeat the same thing in other cities. So to me, that makes the fact that he might be a big Islamic threat actually there, versus just a socialist. So that's
Oh,
what I think.
the fact that NIAC supported Mamdani, okay, but NIAC supports a whole bunch of, okay, so the reformist arm of the Islamic Republic is a major, finds its grows its tentacles inside United States politics through progressives. The progressives are the main way for the Islamic Republic's influence in American politics. So
I
to
mean,
me,
true,
that's just a continuation of that.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
they're getting Ro Khanna, for instance, now to sponsor a bill for them, et cetera. I mean, I do agree that they work through progressives, but I also
Right.
think like the Islamic agenda is still there because NIAC is pretty much the Islamic Republic. So
Yeah, but this true, but at the same time, given that their tool is to use the progressive, this also would be not in this act wouldn't be in contradiction for me, considering the progressive side of Mamdani a bigger deal than its jihadi one, right? So yes, their eventual goal of the Islamic Republic is to export Islamism all around the world, but they use different tools. Leftist progressivism is one of them, and Mamdani will basically fall, in my opinion, will fall in that category mostly. I mean, he is a Muslim. I'm not denying that. I'm just saying he's more dangerous because he's a progressive. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, they're all working in the same direction. So who cares? Like, at the end of the day, they're enemy. Like, so if two people are stabbing you, are like, wait, which one is who? Like, I mean, they're both stabbing you, right? Like, if you're on the ground and two people are stabbing you, like, wait, like, I need to make sure like you're this one and this one. Like, you're being stabbed by these two people, right? So whether he's an Islamist or he's like a leftist progressive, he's an enemy of the West.